The Dionysia was a large festival in ancient Athens in honor of the god Dionysus, the central events of which were the theatrical performances of dramatic tragedies, and from 487 BC, comedies. It was the second most important festival after the Panathenaia. The Dionysia actually consisted of two related festivals, the Rural Dionysia and the City Dionysia, which took place in different parts of the year. Let's go to dramatic performances. Following the pomp, not sure what that means in this context, the theater of Dionysus was purified by the sacrifice of a bull. According to tradition, the first performances of tragedy at the Dionysia was by the playwright and the actor, Thespis, from whom we take the word thespian, which means, I think that means actor. In 534 BC, his award was reportedly a goat, a common symbol for Dionysus, and thus, in this prize, possibly suggests the origin of the word tragedy, which means goat song. During the 5th century BC, 5 days of the festival were set aside for performance. The scholars disagree exactly what was present each day. At least 3 full days were devoted to tragic plays, and each of the 3 playwrights presented his set of 3 tragedies and 1 satire play. On the successive days, most of the extant Greek tragedies, including those of Aeschylus, Euripides, and Sophocles, were performed at the theater of Dionysus. The archons, Epimilete, and judges watched from the front row. The other 2 days of festival were likely devoted to dithyrambic contests until 487 BC, when comic poets were officially admitted to the agon and eligible for their own prizes. And so dithyram was an ancient Greek hymn sung and danced in honor of Dionysus. So each of the 5 comic writers presented a single play, except during the Peloponnesian War when only 3 plays were performed, though it is unknown whether they were performed continuously on one day or over the course of a 5-day festival. Until 449 BC, only dramatic works were awarded prizes in agon, but after that time, actors also became eligible for recognition. It was considered a great honor to win the comedic prize at the city of Dionysia. This is like the first it's like an ancient Kill Tony or something. Despite the belief that comedies were of secondary importance, the Linnea festival, held earlier in the year, featured comedy more prominently and officially recognized comic performances with prizes in 442 BC. I am curious, how do they know something's good? Is it really, does it have to do with laughter? Is comedy the same kind of modern comedy that we have? I don't know. Impressive tragic output continued without pause through the first 3 quarters of the 4th century BC, and some scholars consider this a time of continuation of the classical period. Though much of the work of this period is either lost or forgotten, it's considered to owe a great debt to the playwright Euripides. His plays, along with other 5th century BC writers, were often restaged during this period. At least one revival was presented each year at City Dionysia. It had been suggested that audiences may have preferred to see well-known plays restaged rather than financially support new plays of questionable quality, or alternately, that revivals represented a nostalgia for the glory of Athens from before the devastation of the Peloponnesian War. Nevertheless, plays continued to be written, performed until the 2nd century BC, when new works of both comedy and tragedy seem to have been eliminated. After that point, drama continued to be produced, but prizes were awarded to wealthy producers and famous actors rather than long-dead playwrights whose work was performed. Another procession and celebration was held at the final day, when the judges chose the winners of the tragedy and comedy performances. Yeah, it's like the Oscars. The winning playwrights were awarded a wreath of ivy. So, some questions that are popping up is this something that's ubiquitous to all like Greek polities? I mean, does Sparta do these types of things, or is it just Athens? I'm not sure. Yeah, so I guess it's just Athens. So this is something that's Athenian. Dionysia has to do with Athens, not other ones. It would say otherwise. Hellenistic Greek mosaic depicting the god Dionysus as a winged daemon rider. What is a daemon rider? Right, as a winged daemon riding a tiger from the house Dionysus at Delos, controlled by Athens in the South Aegean region of Greece. All right, that's it for this one.